Siri is now just Google. Apple released the Creator Studio subscription, and what has happened to NFTs? Let's talk about it. Apple has officially waved the white flag in the AI smart assistant race, with Siri now being powered by Google, or more specifically, Google's Gemini model. In a joint statement released earlier this week, the two tech giants announced that Apple and Google have entered into a multi-year collaboration where the next generation of Apple Foundation models will be based on Google's Gemini model technology and cloud infrastructure. These models will power future Apple Intelligence features, including a dramatically reimagined Siri experience that is launching later this year. This is such a fascinating moment in tech history. Like, Apple has always been the company that seems to basically have everything in their life figured out. They're the brand that could deliver on almost any promise they made, yet this AI thing is really giving them a tough struggle. Like, here we are watching companies like Meta, OpenAI, and even Twitter spin up competitive AI models seemingly overnight, while Apple is essentially outsourcing one of their flagship features to their biggest competitor. When Apple Intelligence was first announced, they said they partnered with ChatGPT to handle more complex requests when Siri just couldn't cut it. Now they're doing a complete switcheroo with Google instead. It really highlights how these tech giants exist in a weird space where they're fierce competitors and essential partners at the same time. Like, Google already pays Apple billions, yes, billions annually to remain the default search engine on iPhones. Samsung manufactures many of Apple's displays. They're all interconnected in some shape or form, but this Gemini partnership feels a bit different. This feels like a public admission of defeat from Apple, which is probably hard for them to do. But also, to Apple's credit, they've stated that these AI processes will still run on device or within Apple's private cloud compute infrastructure, ensuring that Google doesn't get unfettered access to your personal data. It's not a complete handoff to Google Gemini. Apple is just licensing the underlying model architecture while maintaining their privacy-focused approach. Their promise is that Siri will finally become conversational. So instead of these robotic one-sentence responses or pulling from random snippets on the web, Siri will actually be able to have a real back and forth conversation similar to ChatGPT or any other modern AI chatbot. And also, here's a fun fact. Apple actually didn't even invent Siri. Siri was originally its own company, Siri Inc., that Apple acquired back in 2010 and then integrated into the iPhone 4S. We're really witnessing a fundamental shift in what people expect from voice assistants. Users don't just want to ask simple one-off questions like, what is the weather, anymore. They want to take full advantage of these full conversations, message threads, image attachments, like detailed breakdowns of complex topics. And ChatGPT has absolutely dominated that space. And if Siri wants to reach its full potential, tapping into that conversational AI capability is not optional. It is essential, especially with the promises they have made. And you know what this Apple Google partnership kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of the Newton message pad. Back in 1993, Apple launched the Newton, their first attempt at a personal digital assistant. It was supposed to be revolutionary, right? It was going to have handwriting recognition, smart organization, a device that could basically anticipate your needs and provide them for you. Sounds familiar? Yes, Apple poured massive resources into it. They promised it would change everything, and then it flopped so hard. The handwriting recognition was infamously bad. There were literally comic strips mocking it, and Apple kept it on life support for 5 years before Steve Jobs finally killed it in '98 when he returned to the company. Jobs called it basically a failure of execution, not vision. The Newton's ideas were strong. We do use digital assistants now, and we do have AI that anticipates our needs, or at least tries to. But Apple was way too early, and more importantly, they couldn't execute on the technology themselves at the time. So that's how that ties into this whole Apple Intelligence Siri issue today. Speaking of things that were supposed to revolutionize the whole world, what happened to NFTs? Are we just gonna all collectively forget that NFTs were a thing? Like, they weren't being aggressively pushed as this groundbreaking, world-moving investment opportunity in the future of digital ownership? Like, let's rewind to 2021, 2022, when NFTs were absolutely everywhere online. Celebrities were launching quick collections and campaigns. Major brands were jumping in. Digital artwork was selling for millions of dollars. Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs were status symbols among the wealthy. Everyone was told that this was the future, that owning a digital asset on the blockchain would be as valuable as owning physical art in real estate. The promise was this huge, massive thing that true digital ownership, artist empowerment, decentralized commerce, exclusive community access, and passive income through royalties every time your NFT was resold. But then it really hit, like hard. The NFT market crashed spectacularly. According to recent data, over 95% of NFTs are now essentially worthless. The floor price of even the most hyped collections have plummeted. Celebrities who promoted them have gone silent or scrubbed their social feed of any promotion or mention of them. The utility promised by most projects, exclusive access, real-world benefits, metaverse integration, never materialized. So what went wrong? First, the market was flooded with low-quality cash grabs and outright scams. Second, the technology didn't solve a real-world problem for most people. And third, and perhaps the most importantly, the speculative bubble burst, and when people realized that artificial scarcity and hype didn't create lasting value, most NFTs weren't investments, they were digital beanie babies, basically. They were like a digital Labubu. This is what you own, you know what I mean? The lesson here is the same as the one we've repeated throughout tech history. Not every hyped innovation lives up to the promise, and just because something is technologically possible doesn't mean there's actually a demand for it. In even more Apple news, Apple has announced that their new Creator Studio subscription will be available in the App Store beginning Wednesday, January 28th for $12.99 per month or $129 per year with a 1-month free trial. And this includes access to Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, Pixelmator Pro on Mac and iPad, Motion, Compressor, and Main Stage on Mac, and intelligent features and premium content for Keynotes, Pages, Numbers, and later Freeform for iPhone, iPad, and Mac. For all you Pages, Numbers, and Keynote users, college students can get a hefty discount and pay only $2.99 per month or $30 basically for the year. Alternative users can also just purchase the Mac versions of Final Cut Pro, Pixelmator Pro, Logic Pro, Motion, Compressor individually as, you know, one-time purchases on the Mac store, which I did many years ago, maybe 5+ years ago. I'm glad they'll be keeping this as an option for most people. And I do also like that they're lowering the barrier of entry for most creators to be able to use their products, especially for college students, to get this hefty discount to get people basically in the door of using Final Cut more, which is my go-to video editor, and Motion has grown to be one of my favorite graphic creators because of its integration with Final Cut Pro. But we know After Effects is still a little bit better. I think this is an absolute win for everyone. This is an absolute win for Apple. This is an absolute win for the consumers and students especially. And that's it for today's tech rundown. If you find this video interesting, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more cool gadgets, fun videos, and breakdowns. Drop a comment below and let me know, do you think Apple made the right move partnering with Google? And did you buy any NFTs back in the day? No judgment. Okay, maybe a little judgment. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.